Welcome to my National Podcast. Let's get into it. Welcome to my National Podcast. It is Thursday. This episode will be coming out on Thanksgiving. So you guys probably won't be watching this on the day it comes out. And if you are, you're probably eating and I'm like on the TV or something. I don't know. Oh, man. But yes, even though it's Thanksgiving, you guys are still going to get an episode. I got y'all. We're still going to be doing King of Wrath because I know you guys love your King of Wrath. And we're going to keep going on and on and on. I know Christmas is going to be on a Thursday as well. You guys will still be getting an episode on that as well. I talked about this, I think, on Tuesday. And so, yeah, man, we're going to keep rocking and rolling. We have a funny thread for you as well as the book. So we'll get right on into our thread and let's do this. So today's thread is, what is the dumbest thing you've ever done while you were high? So we've done a thread similar to this before. It was called, what is the highest thing you've done when you were high? So this one is, what is the dumbest thing you've done while you were high? Kind of the same thing, kind of not. All right. Kind of a throwback, if I'm being honest with you. All right. So what is the dumbest thing you've ever done while high? I saw tiny bugs crawling over a little flower amongst the grass. I realized they had never heard music before. Poor little guys. So I put my phone next to the flower and gave them a concert of a lifetime. Homie was just like, yo, these little buggies have never heard music before. Oh, I got y'all, fam. Here is Drake. Oh my God, that's crazy. All right, what is the dumbest thing you've ever done while high? The bouncer at the entrance of the club put his arms out to indicate that I should do so for him to pat me down. Instead, I thought he wanted a hug, so I hugged him. Oh, man. Bro was like, go ahead and put your hands out for me. And he's just like, oh, bro, you want a hug? Oh, come here, man. I swear bouncers have probably seen and heard the most craziest shit. Honestly, I need to do a thread where it's just like bouncers. What is the craziest thing you've seen? I ain't gonna lie to you. I think that would be hilarious. All the drunk people that come and go out of those places, all the high motherfuckers that are coming through there. I'm telling you, man, that is going to be a thread I'm going to work on. Because I bet bouncers, man, they've gone through it all. All right, what is the dumbest thing you've ever done while high? I convinced myself that I could really walk and was just mind over matter. And despite my boyfriend and friends telling me not to, I rose up from my wheelchair and promptly fell under the pub table. I was covered in bruises and had a sore bum for days. My boyfriend and his best mate had to retrieve me from under the table. Yo, that's crazy. Why are we letting the wheelchair girl try to think that she can walk? Like, bitch, you haven't walked in years. There ain't no willpower. There ain't no amount of weed that's going to make it to where you can walk. Oh, my God. That is craziness. She was just like, guys, guess what? Like, I can walk. And they're like, what? Charlotte, shut up. And it's like, no. Look. It's all willpower, I swear. The fact that the boyfriend let her try to get up out of her chair is crazy. If I was the boyfriend, there's no way I'd let her try to get up out of her chair. Maybe he did, and it got to a point where, he was just like, all right, man, she's just going to have to bump her head and, get a little bruises to realize that she can't actually walk. I hope it was that, but I ain't going, if he just sat there and let that happen, that's crazy. That's some crazy shit. All right, what is the dumbest thing you've ever done while high? I microwaved cheesecake because Stone Me found it odd that it was always served cold and not hot like it should be. He thought he was cooking, bro. He thought he was cooking. Oh, shit. Bro thought he was cooking, man. He was like, oh, I'm cooking, fam. You know, and why don't they ever have cheesecake warm like it should be? What the fuck is wrong with people? Oh my god. That is wild. Mans thought he was cooking, bro. He so thought he was cooking. All right. What is the dumbest thing you've ever done while high? Not the dumbest, but laziest. I microwaved something, and when I opened the door to get it, because it wasn't centered in the turning plate, it was a bit further from the door, so I closed it, restarted the microwave another 5 seconds to get it closer to me. What? What? You know you can just spin the plate freely, right? Like this motherfucker opened the thing and was like, oh man, it's at the back. Okay. 5 seconds. Boom. I guarantee you it did like a full ass rotation and then came to him and he's like, oh, that's what I'm talking about. Bro, that's wild. You know you can just spin the plate. You know what I mean? You know that's the thing, right? Like those plates aren't on anything really. You can just kind of spin it and it'll come right to you. That is funny. What is the dumbest thing you've ever done while high? One night I go into the backyard to get high, leave the backyard lights off so that my older neighbors can't see what I'm doing because I'm immature like that. I got a glass of ice water in one hand and stepped into my pitch black backyard. Every time I move, I hear a sound like there is an animal stalking me in many of the bushes in my backyard. Whenever I stop, the sound stops, and once I start moving, it starts again. It sounds to me like the leaves in the bushes in our backyard are rustling and there is an animal in them. If I try to go back towards my back door, the sound follows me. If I move forward into the backyard, the sound follows me. I am legit freaking out thinking there is a big animal stalking me in my backyard. Turns out it was just the ice in my drink clinking every time I moved. What? Oh my god, bro. Dude was so high. He was just like cling, 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 cling. What the fuck was that? Alright, well, cling, 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 cling. The fuck is that? Is there an animal back here? No, of course not. Alright. Alright, whatever. Cling, 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 cling. Yo, this thing is getting close. It's gotta be on my heels. Like, I bet when he finally got to the door, he realized, oh man, it was the ice. Woo! Like, what the fuck, man? That's crazy. How in the hell could you misinterpret ice in your drink to an animal in the bushes? Oh my god. All right, what's the dumbest thing you've ever done while high? Needed to go into a gas station to get another Dutch. Noticed for whatever reason my best friend's boyfriend had a full chicken costume on in the back seat. I decided it would be funny to wear just the mask into the gas station. Didn't realize how bad I fucked up till the girl at the register started screaming for the guy back in the back room. They had just been robbed 2 weeks prior. Yo! They thought you were going to rob the gas station with a chicken mask on. Oh, the girl at the front was just like, oh shit, David, it's happening again. The bitch got a chicken mask on this time. Oh shit, man. Ay. All right, what is the dumbest thing you've ever done while high? A sober friend put the other high guy's phone in my bag. I found it funny, so I left it there. I completely forgot and took it home with me. Later on, an alarm goes, so I go to investigate and then find the phone. Tried to tell the guy and called his phone. The phone that was oh my God, that was in her hand. Bro, she was so high. She went to sleep and woke up high. Her alarm went off and she was like, what the fuck? Alarm? Oh, what's going on here? This is not my phone. This is Jake's phone. Let me call Jake real quick. Jake? Like, bro, what the fuck, man? She was high into the next day. That's crazy. All right, what is the dumbest thing you've ever done while high? Once I was eating a burrito like a ravenous beast and straight up bit my own finger. Another time I was gaming and my hands were cold, so cold as I can get bad circulation. Well, I sat there thinking, man, it would be great if they made socks but for your hands, and thought I had an idea. 10 seconds go by and then, oh yeah, gloves exist. Had a good laugh to myself for that one. I can imagine this dude literally playing video games. I'm like, dang, man, my hands are cold, bro. Dude, I so wish they had like socks but for your hands. I can see this man going into his closet, putting socks on his hand and being like, yo, I'm a genius, son. I'm a genius, and starts playing this game again. Wakes up the next morning, he's like, why the fuck do I got socks on my hand? Just imagine waking up and being confused as fuck while you got socks on your hand. You're like, what the hell? What was I doing last night? Jesus. Oh my God. What is the dumbest thing you've ever done while high? Playing video games with my bro, split screen Modern Warfare 3. I'm absolutely crushing it. Then I realize I'm looking at the wrong screen. My dude is in a corner moving and shooting the wall. Oh my God. Bro was like, yo, I'm out here killing the game, son. His friend is just like, nigga, you cool? You alright? Cause you just in a wall doing nothing, bro. And he's like, wait, what? Oh, shit, I thought that was me. Oh, damn. That is crazy. Oh my God. Okay. What is the dumbest thing you've ever done while high? Once I was looking at the moon and I was just noticing the details in it, and I took a step forward to get closer, to get a closer look like a dumbass. That's crazy. He was just like, dang, man, the moon looks really nice today. Let me see if I can just get a little closer. Man. Like, bro, imagine seeing your friend doing that shit. Y'all just walking down the street. He's like, yo, man, no matter how much I walk, I can't get closer to the moon, man. I can't get closer to the moon, man. Trying to see the details in the moon, man. Oh, God. All right. Oh, Jesus. What is the dumbest thing you've ever done while high? So this is when I first started smoking. I was sitting watching a movie in my apartment when I noticed the red dot light on the wall. It took me a while to figure out where it was coming from. As I lived in a top floor unit, I noticed the laser light projecting from the backyard of a house that was on the other side of a complex fence. It was super dark and windy, and it created shadows, and it looked like someone was posted up in the yard, pointing a gun with a laser light in my direction. So I freaked out, called 911. When the officer was on the way, I realized it smelled like pot, so I quickly lit an incense burner, and he shortly arrived. I had a feeling he thought I was just super stoned, but when I showed him the red light, and he saw what I was freaked out about and called for backup. What the hell? There was a whole crew of officers at my apartment evacuating the building. The responding officer stayed with me until his team went to investigate. Well, it turned out this poor little older than dirt lady opened the door, confused of course. She directed the officers to the light, and it turned out it was a motion sensor that she had got knocked over, and the wind was blowing the trees and bushes she had, so it looked like people were in their backyard. From that point on, I will never call the cops while high about lights. The cop peeked through the window with the light coming through and drew his gun and told me to get down and army crawl in the kitchen while he called for backup. That's crazy. What the hell? Yo, the fact that the cops took it like as such a serious threat is wild. The fact that they're just like, oh shit, hold up, get down, man. They out here shooting, bro. Like that's crazy. Yo, that's wild. And then the fact that he called back up and there's like all these people just for an old lady to be like, oh, my bad. I knocked over a motion sensor and then my trees were moving around. Like, my bad. Like, that's crazy. Damn. Hey, at the same time, though, W cops, because you never know. You never know. So, W cops. All right, what is the dumbest thing you've ever done while high? One time when I was in high school, my mom went grocery shopping, and of course I used her time away to smoke a joint. When she came back with groceries, she called me out to the car to help bring them inside. I put some Visine in, slipped on my flip-flops, and headed for the car. As I'm bringing the groceries in, maybe 2-3 bags at a time, I'm bringing them all the way to my bedroom instead of the kitchen. My mom locks the car, walks into the kitchen and says, "Where the hell are all the groceries?" I'm standing there, eyes bloodshot because of the Visine didn't kick in, like, oh shit. This... Bro brought a whole car full of groceries into his room. There was no hiding that you were high on that one, my guy. Oh, man, there was no hiding it. Oh, man, this nigga brought all the groceries into his room. Oh, my God, that's crazy, man. Oh, Jesus. All right, what is the dumbest thing you've ever done while high? I was high as a kite with some friends. I looked up at the sky and was in awe. There were dozens of shooting stars through the sky. About 2 minutes later, I realized the stars weren't moving, but the clouds were. Oh, shit. Yeah, homie must have been just baked out of his mind. That's crazy. Think like clouds or stars. He's just like, holy shit, yo. The universe is moving, fam. He's like, the universe is moving, fam, and we're just like, it's specks in it, bro. And all this homies like, yeah, that's some deep shit, son. That's some deep shit. Oh, what is the dumbest thing you've ever done while high? I got super blazed one night near the beginning of the pandemic lockdown and went across the street to the drugstore to get some chips and such. As I approached the automatic glass door, I saw a person standing on the other side, so I waited for them to come through. I stood there waiting for what felt like an eternity. I was getting frustrated, like, what's up with this clown? Can't they see I'm waiting for them? Then I realized it was just my reflection. What the fuck? Bro, it's just like, yo, can this dude move? He's not getting out of the way, man. Oh, that is crazy, bruh. Oh, my God. That is wild. Yo, the crazy shit people do while high is wild, man. All right. We're going to do two more and then win the thread. So, what is the dumbest thing you've ever done while high? This one time I was in front of my TV watching comedians in cars getting coffee. I had my bong on the coffee table between me and the TV. I am seeing Jerry Seinfeld driving someone in New York, and suddenly I can see a cop car joining their lane behind them. I quietly and slowly took the bong off the down on the floor so the cops can't see it. Oh my god, bro. What the fuck? Oh my god, bro. Bro's just sitting there like, oh shit. Oh, the cops, son. Hopefully they can't see my bong. Oh my god, bro. Oh shit. Oh, this dude got me in stitches. Oh my god. Bro, straight watching TV, hiding his bong from the cops on TV. That's crazy, man. Oh shit. Oh my god, that is hilarious. Okay, this is going to be our last one. What is the dumbest thing you've ever done while high? Ate cat food. When I lived with my parents, they had 2 cats. They would buy huge bags of cat food and put the food in 5-gallon buckets with a lid and kept it in the garage, usually to keep it safe from outdoor animals since it's the country and there is possums, raccoons, mice, and other small critters. While I got home one night from hanging out with friends and seeing the buckets of food was open, I went inside and the self-feeder was closed to empty, so I decided to refill it. When I went to the bucket of cat food, I wondered if it was stale because I wasn't sure how long the bucket of food was left open, so I ate a handful, chewed a couple times, and then realized what the hell I was doing and spit it out. I don't know if it was stale or not, it was just crunchy. That's crazy. Bro was so high, he was just like, what the, let me see if this is stale. Oh, what the hell? Oh, God. Like, bro, what? Like, what the fuck were you doing, man? Like, dude, what the, hey, man. The crazy thing y'all motherfuckers do while you're high, man. Oh, my goodness. The crazy things you guys do while you are high. Oh, goodness. This thread was funny. Absolutely funny. You guys be doing some wild shit while you're high. Oh, and I'm for it. I'm here for it, man. Oh, my goodness. That was a W thread. Won't lie to you. Hope you guys enjoyed the thread. Hope you guys got a laugh out of it as well as I did. If you have ever done something dumb while you were high, definitely let me know down in the comments. Definitely get a part of the thread. I'd love to see your comment and you get a part of it. All right. We're going to hop to announcements and get right into our book. All right. So patreon.com/Am I the Asshole Podcast. Get an exclusive episode every single Friday, as well as being able to send in your scenario to be featured on the Tuesday and Sunday show. The Patreon has been steadily growing, and I do appreciate that. Thank you so much. Audio listeners, thank you guys for all of the support you guys have been showing. The downloads have been going up and up and up, and it's been awesome. I know not a lot of people have been really listening to podcasts and all that kind of stuff. The numbers have been kind of fluctuating, and I get it. It's the holidays and stuff like that, so people are more spending time with family and traveling and doing that kind of stuff, so it is what it is. But that's not going to stop your boy from giving you guys content to come back to after the holidays and all that good stuff. So, thank you guys for all the downloads, all that good stuff. Keep downloading the episodes as well as rating us 5 stars. If that helps out tremendously, and it's free. If you want to help out even more on the free 99 side of things, go ahead and follow us on Instagram, TikTok, as well as YouTube. It helps out so much, and I appreciate you guys. Love you guys all. We'll get into our book right now. I believe we are on chapter 30, either 34 or 35. I never remember what fucking chapters we're ever on. I'm being honest with you, but we'll get into it right now.
Chapter 34. Vivian. On Monday, I picked up takeout from the Moondust Diner and brought it to Dante's office for lunch. A burger and his favorite black and white shake for him, a chicken sandwich and a strawberry shake for me. It was a throwback to our first date, and an olive branch on my part. Dante was the one who needed to extend the branch, but if I shut down whenever he shut down, we'd never get anywhere. I didn't want us to be one of those couples who stewed in passive-aggressive silence. Plus, there had to be a good reason why Dante was acting so weird, and I was determined to find out what it was. "Good afternoon, Miss Lau." Stacy, the receptionist for the Russo Group's executive floor, greeted me with a bright smile. "Hi, Stacy. I brought some lunch for Dante." I held up the paper bags. "Is he in his office?" It was my first time showing up unannounced at his workplace. He could have eaten lunch already, but knowing him, he hadn't. If we didn't eat together, he was likely to skip his afternoon meals altogether. "Yes, but he's in a meeting," she said after a brief moment of hesitation. "I'm not sure when he'll be out." "That's all right. I can wait for him in the guest lounge." I could easily answer emails and check in with the wedding vendors on my phone while I waited. The legacy ball was my top priority for now, but once it was over, I needed to double down on wedding prep. "Are you sure?" Stacy sounded doubtful. When I reassured her I was okay with waiting, she relented. The floor had emptied for lunch, and my flats fell softly on white marble as I made my way through the office. The Russo Group's corporate headquarters was a study in sleek modernity mixed with old-world elegance. Black lacquer and glass reflected ornate gold accents and gilt-framed paintings. Lush flowers blossomed next to sculptural stoneware painted in varying neutral shades. The guest lounge sat at the far end of the floor, but I only made it halfway when I heard a familiar voice, one that didn't belong to Dante. My stride broke a few feet outside Dante's office. The tinted windows prevented me from seeing inside, but the tense conversation within bled through the door.
"You have no idea what you've done."
My father's harsh timbre skated down my spine, leaving trails of ice in its wake. If the rest of the floor hadn't been so quiet, I wouldn't have been able to hear him. As it stood, his words came through faint but clear. My heart picked up pace. I'd planned to check on him later as Agnes had suggested, but I never would have guessed he would be here. Right now, in Dante's office, without so much as a warning or notice. My father rarely visited New York during the work week, and he never dropped in without telling me either before or right after he landed. So what was he doing here on a random Monday afternoon?
"I know precisely what I've done."
Dante drawled, low, dark, deadly.
"The last time you showed up uninvited, you had the upper hand. You used my brother to get to me. I've simply evened the scales."
His brother, Luca. My stomach hollowed. What had my father done?
"No, you haven't. You didn't find all of them."
Despite his confident delivery, my father's voice dipped toward the end. It was a nervous tic I'd picked up on when I was a teenager.
"If I didn't, you wouldn't be here,"
Dante said, sounding at once amused and indifferent.
"You would have run to Romano with one of your backups. Yet you took the time out of your busy workday to fly to New York and see me. It doesn't scream upper hand anymore, Francis. It screams pathetic."
A small rustle.
"I suggest you return to Boston and deal with your company instead of embarrassing yourself further. I've heard it could use some help."
A long silence followed, punctuated by the rapid thuds of my heart.
"You're responsible for the fake reports."
Realization, fury, and a hint of panic rolled beneath my father's accusation, threatening to split it apart at the seams.
"I don't know what you're talking about."
Dante's tone maintained its indifference.
"But it seems serious. All the more reason for you to leave and get a handle on things before the press catches wind of it. You know how vicious they can get once they scent blood." "Fuck the press!"
My father's voice escalated into a shout.
What the fuck did you do to my company, Rousseau? Nothing it didn't deserve. Hypothetically speaking, of course.
The paper bags crumpled in my fist. Blood roared in my ears, making their conversation that much harder to hear. But I forced myself to strain and listen. I had to know what they were talking about. I had to confirm the horrible inkling in my stomach, even if it destroyed me.
Vivian will never forgive you for this!
My father's snarl was that of a wounded tiger. I'd never heard him so angry, not even when Agnes and I broke his favorite Ming vase while playing hide-and-seek as children. A brief, loaded pause.
You're assuming I care what she thinks.
Dante's voice was so cold it turned my blood to ice.
Might I remind you I was forced into this engagement? I never willingly chose her as my fiancée. You blackmailed me into it, Francis. And now your leverage is gone, so don't come into my fucking office and try to use your daughter to save yourself. It won't work. If you don't care, then why haven't you broken the engagement yet?
My father taunted.
Like you said, you were forced into it. The first thing you should have done after getting rid of the photos was get rid of her.
A painful crack in my chest drowned out Dante's reply. A burn ignited somewhere north of my heart and spread behind my eyes, so intense I feared it would leave nothing except ashes behind.
I was forced into this engagement. I never willingly chose her. You blackmailed me into it.
The words echoed in my head like a nightmare stuck on a broken loop. Suddenly it all made sense. Why Dante agreed to marry me when he didn't need my father's business, money, or connections. Why he'd been so cold toward me at the start of our engagement. Why Luca had disliked me, and why my intuition had always questioned the reasoning Dante gave for the engagement. I'd overlooked the flimsiness of the market access excuse because it had been the only plausible one at the time. But now, the omelet I ate for breakfast rose in my throat. My skin flushed hot, then cold, while an army of invisible spiders crawled over my arms and chest. I should leave before they caught me eavesdropping. But I couldn't breathe, couldn't think, couldn't do anything except stand there while my world crumbled around me.
I never willingly chose her. You blackmailed me into it.
The burn liquefied and blurred my vision. The astronomy date, the Paris trip, and all the little moments in between. Had he been pretending this whole time? Trying to make the most out of a bad situation instead of... A burst of laughter down the hall yanked me out of my spiraling thoughts. My head jerked up in time to see two suited men walking toward me, filled with the type of swagger one only possessed if they sat in the C-suite of a multi-billion-dollar company. Their arrival broke the immobility spell holding me hostage. The one on the right noticed me first, but by the time his face lit with recognition, I was already rushing past him, my head ducked and my gaze fixed on the floor ahead. Just get to the exit, and go downstairs. That's all you need to do. 5 more steps. 4, 3, 2, 1. I burst into the lobby like a swimmer gasping for air. I shoved the food at an alarmed-looking Stacy and mumbled something about a work emergency before I jabbed at the elevator button. Thankfully, it came in seconds. I stepped inside, the car plummeted toward the ground, and I finally let my tears fall.
Dante, if you don't care, then why haven't you broken the engagement yet? Francis's eyes glinted with challenge. Like you said, you were forced into it. The first thing you should have done after getting rid of the photos was get rid of her. Red crept into my vision. He said getting rid of her so easily, like he was discussing a piece of furniture instead of his daughter. How a piece of shit like Francis shared genes with Vivian, I'd never understand. He looked like shit now, too, Sallow complexion, dark circles, grooves of exhaustion in his face. Christian's meddling with his company's internal affairs had taken its toll on him. I would have taken greater pleasure in his suffering had the mention of Vivian not been a stab to the chest. Shutting her out for a week had been painful enough, hearing her name come out of her dirtbag father's mouth, knowing what it meant for our relationship. I clenched my jaw and forced my expression to remain neutral. Our conversation is done. I sidestepped Francis's question and deliberately checked my watch. You've already wasted my lunch hour. Leave or I'll have security escort you out. Those reports are bullshit! Francis's knuckles popped from the force of his grip on the armrests. I've worked decades to build my company. You were still a fetus when I started Loud Jewels, and I won't let a silver spoon-fed nepotistic child like you ruin it. You were all too happy to have said silver spoon-fed nepotistic child marry your daughter, I said silkily. To the point where you fucked up and blackmailed him. I don't like being threatened, Francis, and I always pay it back threefold. Now, I tapped my desk phone. Do I need to call my guards, or are you capable of walking yourself out? Francis trembled with outrage, but he wasn't stupid enough to test me any further. He'd stormed in half an hour ago, full of fire and bravado. Now he looked as pathetic and powerless as he really was. He pushed his chair back and left without another word. The door slammed behind him, rattling the paintings on the wall. That fucker. He was lucky none of them fell. I barely had a chance to enjoy the silence before a knock sounded. For Christ's sake, what did a guy have to do for some actual quiet and work time? Come in. The door opened, revealing a nervous-looking Stacy.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Mr. Rousseau,
she said.
But your fiancé dropped off lunch for you. I wanted to get it to you while it's still hot.
The temperature instantly dropped 10 degrees. A buzz of trepidation crawled over me and snaked into my veins. My fiancé, when was she here?
Maybe 10 minutes ago? She said she was going to wait for you in the guest lounge, but she left in a hurry and dropped this at my desk.
Stacy raised 2 takeout bags in the air. They were stamped with the Moondust Diner's distinctive black and silver logo. The buzz turned into 1,000 icy needles piercing my skin. Vivian wouldn't have left without saying hi unless... Fuck. I stood so abruptly I banged my knee against the underside of my desk. I didn't even register my pain through the rush of blood in my ears.
Where are you?
Stacy faltered when I yanked my jacket off the back of my desk chair and brushed past her into the hall. Have Helena cancel the rest of my in-person meetings today when she gets back. I forced the words past my tight throat. I'm working from home for the rest of the day. I was already halfway to the exit when she replied.
What about your food?
She called after me. Stacy sounded panicked, like my missing lunch would be cause for firing her. Keep it. I didn't give a shit if she ate it, fed it to the pigeons, or used it for performance art in the middle of goddamned Fifth Avenue. 10 interminable minutes later, that damn elevator moved at the speed of a snail on morphine. I exited the building, my skin clammy and my heartbeat spiking with sudden indescribable panic. I didn't know how, but I knew with bone-deep certainty Vivian was at home instead of her office. My apartment was only 5 blocks away. Walking was faster than taking a car, though not necessarily safer. I was so distracted by the dread leaking into my stomach, I almost got mowed down twice, once by a foul-mouthed bike messenger and once by a cab taking a corner too fast. By the time I entered the cool, air-conditioned foyer of my penthouse, my mouth tasted like pennies and a thin sheen of sweat misted my skin. I shouldn't be this twisted over the fact Vivian might have overheard me talking with her father. Everything I'd said had been the truth, and she would find out sooner or later. Hell, I'd been bracing myself for this moment since Paris. But there was a difference between theory and reality, And the reality was, when I stopped in the doorway of our room and saw her open suitcase on our bed, I felt like I'd been sucker punched in the gut and dragged over hot coals, all in the space of 2 minutes. Vivian walked out of the closet with an armful of clothes. Her steps halted when she saw me, and a painful, breathless silence stretched between us before she moved again. She dumped her clothes on the bed while I watched, my heart pounding hard enough to bruise. "Were you going to leave without telling me?" Roughness edged my question.
I'm doing you a favor.
Vivian didn't look at me, but her hand shook as she folded and packed her clothes.
I'm saving you from a hard conversation. I heard you, Dante. You don't want me here. You never wanted me here. So I'm leaving.
There it was. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. She'd learned the truth, and this was her way of dealing with it. My hands fisted. She was right. She was doing me a favor. If she left, no questions asked. She'd sever the last tie I had to the Laos, with little to no effort on my part. I could wipe my hands clean of her family and move on, and yet... That's it. After 8 months, after finding out what your father did, and what I did. That's all you have to say. Vivian finally looked up. Red rimmed her eyes, but fire flashed in the brown depths.
What do you want me to say?
She demanded.
Do you want me to ask what my father had on you? To ask whether the past 2 months meant anything, or if you were just trying to make the most out of a shitty situation until you could get rid of me? Do you want me to tell you how devastating it is to find out your father is... Her
voice broke. She turned away, but not before I glimpsed the tears streaking down her cheek. My chest crushed like ice beneath a speeding truck.
Do you know how it feels to learn your fiancé was only with you because he was forced into it? To think we were actually getting closer when you secretly hated me? Not that I blame you.
She let out a bitter laugh.
If I were in your position, I would hate me too.
It took every ounce of effort to swallow past the lump in my throat. I don't hate you, I said, my voice low. I've never hated you. No matter what Vivian did or who she was related to, I could never hate her. It was the one thing I hated about myself. Your father had incriminating photos of my brother. I didn't know why I was explaining. She'd made it clear she didn't care, but I kept talking anyway, the words falling out faster the more she packed. He would have died if they landed in the wrong hands. I told her about the backups, her father's ultimatum, and his insistence I keep her in the dark about the blackmail. I told her about the Paris call and even how I figured out there were 8 copies of the evidence. When I finished, her skin was 2 shades paler than when I'd started.
And my father's company?
A lengthy silence pervaded the space. That was the one part I'd left out. An important part, but one that made my heart pinch when I finally said, I did what I had to do. No one threatens a Russo. My gaze fixed on Vivian while she processed my reply. The air crackled with 1,000 tiny stinging wasps on my skin. How would she react to my veiled confession? With anger? Shock? Disappointment? Regardless of her feelings toward her father right now, I couldn't imagine she'd be okay with me tampering with her family's company. But to my surprise, Vivian didn't betray any visible emotion beyond a tightening of her features.
I'm sorry for what my father did,
she said.
But why are you telling me this now? You were fine with keeping me in the dark until now.
My hands fisted again. I wanted to clear the air, I said stiffly. Before you left. We parted ways. If you don't care, then why haven't you broken the engagement yet? Francis's question haunted me. I could have told her any time over the past week, but I'd stalled, made excuses, told myself I was preparing her for our break by pulling away, when in reality, I simply hadn't been ready to let her go. But time was up. I chose vengeance over Vivian, and these were the consequences. No more stalling. I'm sorry you got caught in the middle of this. You were never at fault. But I had to protect my family, and this is..." The words lodged like a knife in my throat before I forced them out. "This is just business." The taste of pennies returned, but I kept my expression detached even when every instinct screamed at me to cross the room, hold her, kiss her, and never let her go. I'd let emotion rule for too long. It was time for logic to rule again. Even if she forgave me for what I did to her family, we couldn't move forward when her father and I hated each other's guts, and if I stayed with her, her father would still win. He'd know Vivian was a weakness I couldn't afford to have, and he'd use it to exploit the situation any way he could. For both our sakes, it was better for us to split up, no matter how much it hurt. Vivian stared at me. A gallery of emotions flickered through her eyes before a shutter slammed down.
"Right,"
she said softly. She closed her suitcase and hauled it off the bed. She stopped in front of me, twisted her engagement ring off her finger, and placed it in my hand.
"Just business."
She brushed past me, leaving the faint scent of apples and a horrible ache in my chest behind. I closed my fist around the ring. It was cold and lifeless against my palm. My throat worked with a hard swallow. Vivian hadn't packed all her things. Most of her clothes still hung in the closet. Her perfume bottles were on the dresser, a vase of her favorite flowers next to them. Yet the room had never felt emptier.
Chapter 35. Vivian. Instead of seeking out my father or checking into a hotel after leaving Dante's house, I wandered around Central Park with my suitcase like a tourist fresh off the train at Penn Station. I'd hoped the spring air would clear my head, but all it did was remind me of my engagement photo shoot with Dante. Bow Bridge, Bethesda Terrace, even the bench where we ate breakfast after the shoot.
I did what I had to do. No one threatens a Russo. I had to protect my family. This is just business.
I waited for emotion, any emotion, to set in. But other than a brief pinch when I passed one of our photo shoot spots, I only felt numb. I couldn't even summon anger or concern over the possible implosion of my father's company. Too much had happened, and my brain refused to work properly. I was an actress living someone else's life, untouched by the chaos rolling in overhead. For now, at least. I wandered the park until the sun set. Even in my zombified state, I knew better than to stay in the park alone after dark. I climbed into the nearest cab, opened my mouth to tell the driver to take me to the Carlisle, and ended up giving him Sloane's address instead. The thought of spending the night in an impersonal hotel room finally sparked a flicker of panic. I arrived at Sloane's apartment 20 minutes later. She answered after the second doorbell ring, took one look at my luggage and ringless finger, and ushered me inside without a word. I sank onto the couch while she disappeared into the kitchen. Now that I wasn't alone anymore, feeling crept back in. The ache in my arms from dragging my suitcase all day, the blisters on my feet from walking in my expensive but impractical shoes, the gaping, excruciating hollow in my chest where my heart used to beat, healthy and whole. Now the organ lurched like a car on its last fumes, struggling to return somewhere it had never belonged. I blinked away the pressure mounting behind my eyes when Sloane returned with a mug and a pack of my favorite lemon butter cookies in hand. We sat in silence for a second before she spoke. "Do I need to sharpen my knives and prepare contingency plans for a homicide charge?" I mustered a weak laugh. "No, nothing quite that drastic." "I'll be the judge of that." Her gaze narrowed. "What happened?" Dante and I broke up." Another piece of my earlier numbness splintered into a painful throb. "I gathered as much." Sloane's reply was matter-of-fact, not sarcastic. "What did the fucker do?" "It wasn't his fault. Not entirely. I managed to summarize the day's events without breaking down, but my voice cracked toward the end.
I'm sorry you got caught in the middle of this. I had to protect my family. This is just business.
Another splinter, this one large enough to knock the breath out of my lungs. The pressure behind my eyes amplified. To Sloane's credit, she didn't fall into dramatics over the shocking revelations. It wasn't her style, and it was one of the reasons I'd come to her instead of Isabella. As much as I loved Isa, she'd want to know every detail and rehash the situation ad nauseum. I didn't have the energy or emotional bandwidth for that right now. Okay, so the engagement is officially off, which means we need a plan, Sloane said crisply. We'll call the wedding vendors in the morning and cancel. It might be too late for a full refund, but I'm sure I can convince most, if not all of them, to issue partial reimbursements. Actually, she pursed her lips. Scratch that. We need to draft language for the breakup announcement first. We don't want any of the vendors leaking to the press. The society papers will be all over this, and... Sloane. My hands strangled my mug. Every word out of her mouth ratcheted my anxiety up another notch. Can we discuss this later? I appreciate the help, but I can't think about all of that right now. The enormity of the next few weeks overwhelmed me. I had to move the rest of my belongings out of Dante's house, confront my father, figure out where my relationship with him went from here, cancel the wedding, and deal with the public fallout of my broken engagement. On top of all that, the legacy ball was in less than a week, and we were entering another busy season for events. Cold sweat broke out on my forehead, and I forcibly dragged air through my nose to slow down my frantic heartbeat. Sloane's face softened. Right. Of course. She cleared her throat. Do you want me to call Isa? She's much better at this. She gestured vaguely around us. Than I am. Later. I just want to shower and sleep if you don't mind. I stared at my tea, feeling stupid and ashamed and embarrassed and 1,000 other things in between. I'm sorry for showing up without warning like this. I just didn't want to be by myself tonight. Vivian. Sloane placed her hand over mine, her voice firm. You don't need to apologize. Stay as long as you want. My guest room wasn't getting much use anyway. You, Isabella, and the maintenance guy are the only people I allow in my apartment. I didn't know you had that kind of relationship with your maintenance guy, I half-heartedly joked. Scandalous. She didn't smile, but concern lined her brow. Get some rest. We'll figure everything out in the morning. My attempted smile collapsed. Thank you, I whispered. Sloane wasn't a hugger, but the squeeze of her hand conveyed the same sentiment. Later that night, I lay in bed, unable to sleep despite my exhaustion. I'd lost both my father and my fiancé in some way or another today. Two of the most important people in my life, unrecognizable or gone. My father lied, manipulated, and used me, while Dante...
I never willingly chose her. This is just business.
The pressure behind my eyes finally exploded. The remaining pieces of numbness disintegrated, replaced with pain so sharp and intense I would have doubled over had I been standing. Instead, I curled into a fetal position and gave in to the sobs racking my body. They crashed over me, one after another, until my throat turned raw and wetness scalded my cheeks. But no matter how hard I cried or how much I shook, I couldn't make a sound. My sobs remained silent, felt but unheard.
Dante. I took the next 3 days off work. I tried to work. I really did, but I couldn't focus. During every call, I heard Vivian's voice. During every meeting, I saw her face. At this point, I was a liability to the company, So I instructed Helena to cancel my meetings for the week and took the time to get my head straight. That meant cracking open a bottle of whiskey every night, retreating to the living room, and ignoring Greta's questions until she stormed off in a flurry of curses. Tonight was no exception. I tipped my head and bottle back. The liquor burned down my throat and filled my stomach, but the aching emptiness remained. I was simply unused to Vivian's absence after living with her for so long. It'd pass, as would my emotional attachment to her. People broke up and moved on every day. It wasn't anything fucking special. I tossed back another swig. The fireplace was unlit for spring, but a hazy memory of its flames and the way their light danced across Vivian's features filled my mind.
Are you afraid I'll break the engagement? Run off with Heath and leave you looking like a fool in front of your friends? Why do you care? They're ice cream cufflinks. I know a jeweler on Rue de la Paix who makes customized pieces. It's not just business for you. And it's not just duty for me. I'm glad I came to Paris.
Pain lashed at my chest, a stinging burn.
Maybe you can talk some sense into him.
Greta's grumble drifted into the room from the hall.
He's been sitting and drinking these past few days like his no-good great-uncle Agostino used to do. Non mi piace parlare male dei morti, ma grazie al cielo non è più qui con noi.
I'll try. Luca's voice gave me pause before I shrugged it off and lifted the bottle to my lips again. He probably needed an advance on his allowance. He rarely visited unless he wanted something. I didn't look at him when he entered and took the seat across from me. He watched me for a moment before speaking. What the hell happened? Nothing. My head swam, and I blinked away the fuzziness before correcting myself. Vivian and I broke up. The words tasted bitter. Perhaps I should switch from whiskey to something sweeter, like rum. What? Luca's pale face came into my line of vision when I finally turned. The small movement required as much effort as swimming through molasses. Christ, had my head always been this heavy?
It's your ego. It adds at least 10 pounds.
Vivian's hypothetical teasing sounded in my ears. A vice clamped around my heart. It was bad enough her every word and smile were burned into my memory. Now I was hearing things she didn't say. Why? Luca demanded. What about Francis and the photos? Right. I hadn't told him I'd destroyed the photos yet, partly because I'd been distracted and partly because they kept him in check. Hell, he deserved to sweat a little longer after the fucking mess he landed me in. I took care of them, I said curtly. Which was why Francis visited me earlier this week. Vivian overheard. We broke up. The end. Christ, Dante, you couldn't have told me this earlier? Why'd I have to get a call from Greta fretting about how aliens took over your body? I don't know, Luca. Maybe because I was busy saving your ass. I bit out. He stared at me for a second before slumping in his chair. Shit. Well, this is good, right? Blackmail's gone, Francis is gone, Vivian's gone. This is what you wanted. Another long pull. Yep. You don't look very happy, he observed. Anger snapped free of its leash. What do you want me to do, throw a parade? For fuck's sake, I just saved your life, and all you can do is comment on whether I look happy. Luca didn't flinch. You're my brother, he said calmly. Your happiness is important to me. Just like that, my anger fizzled as quickly as it came. If that were true, you wouldn't have gotten us into this mess in the first place. He grimaced. Yes, well, I've done my fair share of questionable things, as you might know. I snorted in agreement. But you were right to make me get a job. I actually like working at Lohman & Sons, and the structure has been good for me. It's nice not waking up with a hangover every day. A smile flitted over Luca's mouth. I admit I was resentful as hell when you first brought it up. The whole blackmail thing didn't seem real at the time, and I hated how you punished me like I was your child instead of your brother. The job, breaking up with Maria, I was selfish. I lowered my bottle and narrowed my eyes. I'm not the one whose body was taken over by aliens. Who are you, and what the hell have you done to my brother? Luca laughed. Like I said, the structure has been good for me. So has not hanging out with my old crowd as much. Actually, he cleared his throat. I met a girl, Leaf. She's really put things into perspective for me. You're dating someone named Leaf? I asked, incredulous. Her parents were hippies, he said by way of explanation. She's a yoga instructor in Brooklyn. Very flexible. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is I've been doing a lot of inner work with her. I bet he has. I should have known. All the big shifts in Luca's life revolved around women, booze, or parties. She's helping me heal my inner child, he continued. That includes fixing our brotherly relationship. Jesus. I suppose a Brooklyn yoga instructor named Leaf was better than a mafia princess. Higher chance of turning my brother vegan, lower chance of getting him killed. What about Maria? I thought you were in love. I haven't talked to her since we spoke in your office. Luca coughed. I was talking to Leaf about it. I think I mistook the thrill of the forbidden for love, you know? The two are easily confused. You don't fucking say. But enough about my love life. We were talking about yours with Vivian. I tensed again. We sure as hell weren't. You should be celebrating after getting rid of the Laos, he said, ignoring me. But you're here drinking alone like great Uncle Agostino after losing at poker. We both know why. Because I'm trying to forget I have an annoying as fuck brother with terrible taste in women. No, because you actually like Vivian, he said pointedly. You might even love her. The wrecking ball of his speculation ricocheted through my chest and knocked my heartbeat off kilter. That's ridiculous. Is it? Be honest. Luca leaned forward and fixed a hard stare on me. It wasn't an expression I was used to seeing on him. It was unsettling. Putting aside all the bullshit with Frances, do you want to be with her? I tugged at my tie, only to realize I wasn't wearing one. Then why the hell did my throat feel so tight? It's not that simple. Why the hell not? Because it's not, I snapped. What do you think will happen? We'll have happy family meals at Thanksgiving after I destroy her father's company? Get married in front of all our friends like the way we got together wasn't completely fucked? If I marry her, Francis wins. He'll still have a Russo as an in-law. People will question why the fuck I'm not saving him when his company goes up in flames. It'll be a goddamn mess. Sure, Luca said, seemingly unimpressed by my explanation. But that doesn't answer my question. Do you want to be with her? Forget Romano's wrath. I was seconds away from giving in to mine and strangling him with my bare hands. If it weren't for him, Francis wouldn't have blackmailed me. If he hadn't blackmailed me, I wouldn't have gotten engaged to Vivian. If I hadn't gotten engaged to Vivian, I wouldn't have fallen. Realization punched me in the chest, so hard and sudden I swore I heard a crack. Bruised heart, fractured ribs, stolen breath, all in the space of a minute. It was like my body was punishing me for not recognizing the truth earlier when it had been so damn obvious. The way I'd stayed in bed longer every morning just to catch her first smile of the day. The way our takeout lunch dates became my favorite part of the work week. The way I'd opened up to her about my family, my life, myself. And the way watching her walk away on Monday had cost me an irretrievable piece of my soul. The breath left my lungs. Somehow, somewhere along the way, I'd fallen in love with Vivian Lau. Not like or lust, love in all its terrifying, unpredictable, unwanted glory. Luca watched me process the realization, his expression equal parts amused and concerned. That's what I thought. Fuck. Fuck. I rubbed a hand over my face, restless and unsettled. What the hell was I supposed to do now? I'd never been in love, never planned to be in love, and now I'd gone and fallen for the one woman I shouldn't have like a damn idiot. When the hell did you turn into the older brother? The topic was safer than the unresolved one hanging in the air. Trust me, I'm not, and I don't want to be. Too much responsibility, but that's the point. Luca's face sobered. You've sacrificed a lot for me, Dante. I don't always acknowledge or openly appreciate it, but He swallowed hard. I know. All the times you showed up for me when others couldn't or wouldn't. Agreeing to marry Vivian, then giving her up. That's what I meant when I said we need to fix our relationship. You've always been a parent figure because I needed a parent figure. But now, I'd like us to try and be brothers. This time, the pinch in my chest had nothing to do with Vivian. Meaning I'll try not to fuck up and have you bail me out. He gave me a lopsided grin. And I call you out on your bullshit when I need to, like now. You love Vivian. I saw it happening even in Bali. But you let her go because of what? Your pride and vengeance? Those things will only get you so far. Did Leaf tell you that? Nah. Another grin. I read an article about the 7 sins in my dentist's waiting room. I let out a scoff, but his words replayed on a loop in my head. You let her go because of what? Your pride and vengeance? Those things will only get you so far. I should have put you to work sooner. It would have saved me a shit ton of money and headaches. I scrubbed my face again, trying to make sense of this roller coaster of a day. Why are you so invested in my relationship with Vivian? Luca's grin disappeared. Because you protected me my whole life, he said quietly. And it's time I return the favor. I blamed the burn in my heart on the alcohol. That's what my security team is for. Not from other people, from yourself. Luca nodded at the half-empty bottle still loosely clasped in my hand. Don't let your pursuit of wrath ruin the best thing that's ever happened to you. Yeah, figuring things out with Vivian will be hard, but you've always been a fighter. So fucking fight.
All right. Hopefully you enjoyed today's episode. Thank you guys for watching. Love you all. I will see you on Tuesday for another beautiful episode. Or well, I'll see you actually on Friday if you're on Patreon. But I'll see you on Tuesday if you're not on Patreon. Love you guys all and peace.